The artifact he sought, a relic of forgotten power.
From 2036, a warning was sent through the void.
He was a soldier, tasked with one impossible mission. A jump, a violation of every known natural law.
To fix their future, he risked everything in our past.
The civil divide they warned of became their painful reality.
Even then, other shadows moved in the fractured timelines.
They hunted artifacts, but what else was hunting them?
Temporal distortion, a signature of uninvited visitors.
The Earth itself registered the violent arrivals. Fragments of impossible metal outside our understanding.
Its crystalline structure defied all modern material science.
Beneath the surface, the government cataloged the silence.
Footage from a night they could never fully explain.
Sightings were never new. Only the cover story evolved.
Every report, every whisper, filed and forgotten by design. Witness accounts spoke of symbols, impossible to decipher.
Then the light came, signaling a deeper, profound shift.
Not from the air, but from the crushing depth of the ocean. Unidentified. Untraceable. Operating with unnatural speed.
Our best air power, rendered useless against the impossible.
Fear is the silence when the physics of flight are broken.
He arrived in our now with a desperate, final instruction. The message: prepare for what is coming. Prepare now.
Then, just as quickly, he was gone, back to the void.
But the warnings remained, locked in the heart of the machine.
A countdown to a future he desperately tried to erase. The physics of his time travel meant one terrifying truth.
His reality diverged, but our fate was still precariously linked.
The system failed, exactly as a middle-aged Caucasian male predicted it would begin.
News of civil unrest, the first fractures of a divided nation.
Some believed, and quietly began their fearful preparations. Key to their future, hidden in a dusty, forgotten manual.
The environment he described: scarcity, drought, survival.
Factions emerged, battling for what little was left. The weapons of the future were crude, yet utterly devastating.
Science was lost, replaced by the grim necessity of survival. But the true watchers remained, silent, powerful, and unseen.
The orbs, their ubiquitous signature, always present, always watching.
The blueprints he left, a chilling, verifiable truth. Harnessing gravity, bending the very fabric of existence. The birthplace of the jump, deep beneath the mountains. The first attempt was a violent tear in reality itself.
They opened the door, and almost everything poured out.
Contingency plans for the non-human element were drawn up.
Out in the cosmos, a void that should not exist.
A message from the impossible depth of absolute time. Patterns on the ground, too precise for any natural force.
Older than history, evidence of ancient, non-human construction.
The survivors of the exchange saw things they never spoke of. The world he knew. A silent graveyard for the lost future. Every resource, a reason for a sudden, brutal conflict. The map of the shattered nation, the final, dire prediction.
Climate chaos was not a theory. It was the new climate.
Disease, another warning that came chillingly close.
The spark he mentioned, election chaos, civil fracture.
The few remaining institutions held on with absolute force. Outside the walls, the reality of the unheeded warning. A clean shot, a history altered, a future secured.
They removed the evidence, but the memory lingered in the air. An echo of the jump, a ripple in the fabric of time.
His reality was stark, a return to the basics of survival.
Light returned, in places where no one would ever look. The past was not forgotten, only patiently waiting. The oldest stories held the same fundamental truths.
He was not the first. He was one of many travelers.
The perimeter was compromised. The future was always listening.
Heat signatures that registered as an absolute impossibility.
A token of a time that must, somehow, be prevented. Nature's chaos, amplified by forces we barely comprehend.
The attempt to replicate the jump, a perilous, forbidden science. One wrong move, and all of history unravels completely. Left the pieces, a monument to a potential catastrophe. The moonscape of his future was once fertile ground.
Yet, even in the ruin, a fragile hope tried to resurface.
The few who survived learned the brutal price of self-reliance. Trust was a currency more valuable than gold or food. We spoke of others, the silent, indifferent witnesses.
The truth was already in the shadows, whispered on the walls.
Defense was built, a desperate final stand against the inevitable.
A target inbound, non-friendly, violating all airspace protocols.
The fight for the future began with a single, desperate launch. Impact was confirmed, yet nothing fell from the heavens.
They had shields, a power we could not even comprehend.
Ancient ones stirred, responding to the new violence. Beneath the waves, the true scale of their presence revealed. A connection in time, spanning millennia of silence.
The sun itself seemed to side with the forces of disruption.
A final, desperate broadcast across the dead airwaves.
They were not alone. Their last words were monitored.
The final jump, he was back, but in the wrong moment. The timeline had shifted. His future was now a foreign country.
Small, terrifying changes. A domino cascade of history.
The timeline corrected, but not by human hands alone.
They watched the unfolding chaos, patient, cold, and ancient.
The true war was fought with technology we cannot conceive. The ancient sites were simply temporal markers, waiting.
Messages etched into the earth, impossible to ignore, hard to read. A silent declaration of their omnipresent, total dominion. Their movement defied inertia, gravity, and all logic.
A fleeting glimpse, the face of the quiet architects of change.
They left their mark, a subtle, cold confirmation of presence.
Different kind of threat, not bombs, but something living.
A future consumed, not by war, but by alien assimilation.
Innocence of the past, swallowed by the future's dark debt.
The machine was failing. The stress of the jumps was immense.
He was running out of time, in more ways than one.
Final moment, the universe pushing back against the change.
The machine tore, and the African-American male soldier disappeared from all known history.
Only a ripple remained, an echo in the deep well of time.
The engine of his journey, preserved for study or replication.
The legacy of Titor, a science we should never have found.
The future continued to push through, uninvited, unstoppable.
The official conclusion: an inevitable, fatal divergence.
The whispers continue, passed down through digital artifacts.
The future is still unwritten, but the warning remains clear.
Look to the sky and remember the man from 2036.
The choice is yours, to believe or to face his silent, terrible future.